It's a busy week in the world of Destiny. We got a Vidoc today with the first footage of Keith David playing Zavala, so go check that out. And we're getting another Vidoc tomorrow. But the TWAB also dropped today with a ton of information about the game's new Pathfinder system. Just like with everything Destiny, this is simply a first step and doesn't apply to every vendor. It doesn't change completely everything. But it does look like the future of the game is going to radically change at some point. With the new system, there will be no more sitting in orbit and taking out your phone to grab bounties, no more forgetting to claim them and wasting all of that XP. On top of that, they're repeatable and somewhat procedurally generated. That all sounds super exciting to me. So what is Pathfinder? Pathfinder is essentially a replacement for a few different systems: bounties, patrols, and weekly vendor challenges. If something supports the new Pathfinder system, you'll no longer need to worry about any of those things to grind faction XP. Each Pathfinder has 20 objectives across 5 narrowing tiers, which caps in a big reward. While you can progress all objectives at the same time, you don't need to claim them, you don't need to purchase them. The second you have that Pathfinder, anything you do is affecting all 20 at once. Note that you cannot claim loot at the end until a path has been made from left to right, and you can't claim objectives unless you have completed something in a previous tier. Once you complete the entire path, you're able to reset the Pathfinder again, changing the objectives. Bungie says this uses a mixture of something they call authorial control and procedural generation. So after resetting once, your Pathfinder will be different from everyone else's. How does this work with weekly reset? All progress is lost once that time comes, and everyone is given the same card to start again with the reward tracks reset. I'm honestly super excited to try this out. The bounty system has always been uninspiring, something I just picked up relevant bounties for and never really went out of my way to complete them, short of it dictating maybe what activity I play. I'm not swapping to a sniper rifle just for one seasonal bounty, right? I really like the branching paths as well, and the somewhat random nature of these as a way to change up the day-to-day Destiny grind. And I can't help but imagine all of the ways Bungie could easily tweak these in the future, adding more bounty types, changing how the paths work, those kind of things. And one of the best parts is small, but it is really good for me as someone who used to play more than one character. Pathfinder progress is shared across all of them. There are 2 different Pathfinders to start: Destination and Rituals. I'll talk about these individually in a bit, but everyone really wants to know, what can you even earn? For the Destination Pathfinder, which will only support the Pale Heart at launch, this isn't replacing any of the other Destination bounties and stuff, you earn 25 reputation and 4,000 XP with each objective. But completing the first path gives you a redacted exotic, presumably a Pale Heart exotic, a powerful tier 3 engram containing Pale Heart gear, 1 full rank of reputation, and 25,000 XP. Completing the second path, you'll get another exotic, a focusable Pale Heart engram, 375 vendor reputation, and 25,000 XP. The third, you no longer get the exotic, but everything else is the same. And then at that point, you can repeat the Pathfinder infinitely, assuming you have the Glimmer to reset it. But you'll only earn a single World Legendary engram, 150 vendor rep, and 4,000 XP. Keep in mind that each Battle Pass rank is 100,000 XP, unless that's something that's changing with the overhaul and they just haven't announced it yet. But just to give you an idea of how much progress these give. I like the rewards, to be honest, though a lot of it depends on what kind of exotic it drops. We still don't really know any real info about the changes to Xur, and we only know the basics about how the Cryptarch will be replacing Master and Legend Lost sectors as the main source of new exotics. Now crucially, the rewards for the Rituals Pathfinder are different. On your first 3 completions, you'll earn a Prima engram, an Enhancement Prism, 150 Bright Dust, and 25,000 XP. For the next 7 completions, just an Enhancement Prism, 150 Bright Dust, and 4,000 XP. Any subsequent completions beyond that You still get the enhancement prism, but you drop to 30 bright dust and stay at that 4000 XP. On this front, the rewards don't really inspire me to play the ritual modes at all. Bungie says they had to reduce the rewards because they're no longer limited to 3 per week per character, but Prime Engrams continue to be worth less and less, with Destiny reducing or even eliminating the power grind most seasons, and the bright dust and XP is pretty negligible. The only upside here is that you have all of these objectives all of the time, so you don't really have to go out of your way to claim them and do them while having them eat up your valuable bounty space. Unless you've done all of them and your inventory isn't clogged with exotic catalyst missions like mine is. Now let's dig into each individual Pathfinder. Bungie says the Destination Pathfinder will roughly align with what you'd expect to see out of Destination Bounties, though they have added some new ones in called field assignments. So here are the type of objectives you'll see. There are calibrations, which directly replace bounties. These are super common. It's simple stuff like defeating combatants of a certain faction, defeating combatants using weapons that match your subclass damage type, and all of this in that destination specifically, right? There are those field assignments that I mentioned that are new. They are the second most common objective in the Pathfinder. With them, you have to go to a specific location and complete a custom encounter that only appears while your objective is active. As you can see there, we really don't know anything about them. You have to go there and kill something or go there and do something, and that's all we really know. Then there are the ventures, which are destination-focused activities. There's only 2 per Pathfinder, and they only appear in the last tier. These are things like playing through a certain activity and looting chests. Completing specific objectives would grant additional progress. Again, don't really know what those look like. My main thing here is, what does this mean for things like public events? Right? Like, it doesn't specifically mention a public event. Are they just bonuses now? Because they mention that these custom events are only active while the objective is active. So public events might just be completely removed from the main bounty system. It'll be interesting to see. The good news is, though, this sounds more like the Destiny that I'm interested in. There are good excuses to do basically anything on that destination, with only 2 that require you to do the seasonal activity. So if you don't want to grind the seasonal activity for absolutely everything over and over and over again, it looks like you're finally free to do so. On the ritual Pathfinder side, Destiny is not doing away with any of the active reputation boosters. On weeks where one of those is active, Vanguard for instance, the first 3 Pathfinders that week will have more Vanguard objectives. That said, every ritual Pathfinder will have both game-specific objectives and objectives that can be completed in all 5. And yes, I said 5. Snuck into the TWAB was the new ritual activity list: Vanguard Strikes, Nightfalls, Gambit, Crucible, and Onslaught. So yeah, that's what the new Pathfinder system is all about. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment for this video's question. What are your thoughts on this new Pathfinder system? Where would you like to see it used next? Personally, I hope they do something similar with the seasonal bounties and vendors, but there are so many question marks around that with how the new episodes are launching. We really know so little about what Destiny will look like in just 2 weeks. But honestly, I find that super exciting. Want to support the channel? There's a Patreon linked in the description below. For now though, I think that's it. I'll see you next time.